Hi everybody. I'm going to be doing a tutorial of how to make a pizza. This recipe I'm using is a pizza dough recipe that my mom made. You need 3 cups of flour, a third of a cup of olive oil, a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 cup of warm water, a tablespoon of dry yeast, and a tablespoon of sugar. If you want, you can use oil spray or flour. In this case, I'm going to be using flour because I like using flour better. Okay, so what you want to do first is you want to make a yeast mixture. And how you do that is you take your sugar and you put in warm water, then you add your yeast. You got to dissolve the sugar first though. And then you got to wait for your yeast to foam. As you can see, my yeast is already foaming, but that takes like, 3 minutes. Right? Okay. So now you need to measure out 3 cups of flour, a third of a cup of olive oil, teaspoon of salt, tablespoon of garlic powder, and you need to mix the water and mixture and everything into a large bowl. This will work for now for what we're doing. What you want to make sure you want to do first though, any dry ingredients like flour, bread flour, powdered sugar, whatever, you don't want to have it clumped up, right? You want to make sure you mix it around. So don't pack it in, you got to fluff it around actually. And I'd use a fork and stir it around and then dump it in. It takes a long time, but it works. Okay, I'm gonna do that right now. Now to measure out your olive oil and your salt. You can just pour the olive oil, of course, and put my olive oil in. Now time to get my teaspoon of salt. I'll be right back for that. So the kind of salt I'm using is kosher salt. Okay. Alright. Oh yeah, almost forgot the garlic powder. Okay. So the garlic powder, you definitely want to make sure it's just the correct amount because too much will overpower it and absolutely ruin it. So you want to be very precise on your measurements. Now that you got everything incorporated, you want to mix with your hands until the dough clumps together. Now this gets pretty messy, so you might want to have clean hands. I wash my hands, always wash your hands before, so I should be good. You want to make sure you have a clear surface, right? Just so you don't make the biggest mess in the world all over your ingredients and stuff. That's not good, to make a huge gigantic mess. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to clean up. So just want to make sure that you got somewhat of a tidy area. This is what I am doing. I am making sure the area is clean, ready to go. Just get a very small amount of flour. You don't need that much. It's a good surface to work on. It makes the dough not stick, and a little bit more flour won't hurt it, right? See, just like that much. This isn't even like half a cup. All right, you want to spread it out, right, all over your table. At this point, you're gonna want to turn out your dough. Should maybe look something like this. That's how mine looks. You're gonna want to turn it out and knead it for about 10 minutes, right? Basically knead it until it's uniform. So as you can see right here, I'm going to start working in my dough. So you want to work your hands into it. Make it all a uniform color. Again, if you have any extra flour on the sides, just move that over to the surface where you're kneading it and just continue to work. Okay, so you're going to want to preheat your oven to 450. That's for the pizza, just to cook, and it's also going to help you get a very fast dough rise, so you don't have to wait an hour. Or if you want to get a really, really good pizza crust, you put it in the fridge overnight. It makes a really, really good doughy pizza. But the heat speeds up the process of the rising, so it should be okay. Okay, I'm just going to continue kneading my dough. So at this point, your dough should be fairly uniform, right? And in general, as soon as it's uniform, you should knead it for about 10 more minutes. My oven just beeped. I'm gonna place this in a large bowl, right? A larger bowl than we used to actually make the dough, and it will expand, hopefully, to about the bottom. Like, see, hopefully, like, see how it is right now? Hopefully it'll expand to about, like, this big. So, what you want to do for that is you're going to take a kitchen towel, whatever, it just needs to be covered. You're going to place it on top of the oven, the stove, right?
Oh.
And you're going to let it heat up for about 10 minutes, and it should rise and activate the yeast and make it puff up and get bigger. So while we're waiting for that, we are going to get our toppings and our cheese ready. So for the pepperoni, we got an H-E-B deli pepperoni. And for our cheese, we're using a mozzarella block that we're gonna grate ourselves. So hopefully this goes well. And I'm just gonna take my mozzarella. We're not gonna use a lot of it. So whenever you're done with this, you can just put it in a plastic bag and put it in a freezer. Cut it into slices, it works wonders. You're gonna wanna grate it, but any grater should do. And you have good, fresh mozzarella. Look at all of this beautiful cheese. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just putting all my cheese in one bowl so it's not taking up so much space. Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. You can keep a pan to the side. This will help you form your dough once it is done. The pizza dough is almost done, so you're gonna want to clear out a space and spread a little bit more flour. It's been waiting for about 15 minutes. Hasn't rised as much as I want to, but this will work for what I'm doing. Lay it out on your surface. You're gonna want to cut out your dough into 2 even pieces, and I'm using a pastry cutter. You can use a regular knife. We're gonna set aside this dough for later. So you're gonna want to roll it out and stretch it into a circular shape. You're gonna want to use a rolling pin, right? You can flour up the rolling pin, it doesn't really matter. This is where the other extra pan is gonna come in handy, because you want a uniform shape. If it actually gets too big for the pan, you can just fold it again and roll it, right? You can roll it out and just make sure it's not too big. So now that we got the actual pizza, we've gotten the pizza rolled out and everything. So now we are going to put our toppings on. Now this is a pepperoni pizza, so we're first gonna put your sauce. Let me actually get it open. There we go. You're gonna want like a ladle or something to spread the sauce and to hold the sauce, right? To pour it into. You're gonna want to spread it around as much as possible, right? You just want to make sure it gets like everywhere on the pizza. I'm going to spread my cheese. You're gonna want to use a good heavy few pinches, and you're gonna want to spread it around. Right? I'm using a few good pinches. I probably need more cheese, but that is okay. You want to spread it around as much as possible so you don't have to use as much cheese. Since I went to the deli, I got a good sized pepperoni. Right, these are rather large, so you're not going to use many. I'm going to use a good handful. Spread it out all over the pizza. Now you're going to want to put the pizza in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes, right? Or until the crust is a golden brown. I'm gonna check it to make sure at 12 minutes if it's done enough or I need to add time. You always want to go with the lowest time first and then add time overall. So the pizza is done. I am going to take it out of the oven and let it rest. Just let it cool down, and it'll be easier to cut and should have a really good, nice, fresh pizza. Now, while that's happening, I'm gonna go ahead and make my second pizza off camera. Alright, so this is my mom, this is my brother. I'm getting their reactions to my pizza. good?
It really is good.
Yeah, it's good.
To recap, made 2 pizzas, right? I used a recipe that my mother made. All I required was 3 cups of flour, 1/3 cup of olive oil, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 cup of warm water, 1 tablespoon of dry yeast, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. I used a jar of Mama Mary's gourmet traditional pizza sauce, about almost a block of mozzarella, and pepperoni from the deli. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it, and I hope I got a very good grade on this final.